Hello YouTubers, welcome back to Rich Reviews. Today I'd like to do a review on the latest member to my Ryobi family, and that would be the 18 gauge narrow crown stapler. And this is the part of the 18 volt 1 system. So let me go over some of the features that this has, and then I will do a little demonstration of how it works. First of all, here's your compartment for your staples. Now this takes anywhere from 3/8 of an inch up to 1.5 inch staples. And let me just take a moment here. I'll show you some of the staples. So I have two of them. I have 1/2 inch, and then I have 1 inch. But it will take anywhere from 3/8 to 1.5 inch. So keep that in mind. So the way you open it is the button right here. That opens it up, and it's very simple. You just drop it right into the slot in there, in here. And then you simply close it up. Now, unlike the nailers, the Brad nailer and the Finish nailer that Ryobi also has, this does not have the feature where you just plop the a stuck staple or jam staple or nail, whatever. You have to unscrew these two screws here in order to take this cover off and unjam it. It doesn't have like the nailers do, where you just click it open and you can, unclog it that way. So just something to keep in mind. So you probably will have to take this cover off. But other than that, this has two different ways of driving the staples in as far as depth. The first one is this style here, which adjusts the depth that the staple is going to go into the wood. The other way to adjust it is with this style here on the back, which is your air pressure. So this regulates how much pressure or how little pressure you want. Obviously, as you just saw, this has two LED lights right there on either side, and they are operated two ways. One with the trigger, which won't do now because this has to be depressed before it'll shoot, which is a safety. But the other way to turn it on is, that's the main trigger, but right here, this is the light trigger. So if you just wanted the light on for something without using the tool, you just press that, and there's your lights. So that's another little feature it has. It actually comes with a spare. This part here is the part that lays on the wood or whatever you're stapling into, so you don't mar the surface. It's like a hard rubber piece, but there's a spare one right here on the tool. So eventually when this wears down or whatever, you could just take that off, take this one off, and plop it right on there. So a nice little feature there. It does have an area for a belt clip. It does. I have it on this side, so you can, the only thing is, keep in mind this is fairly heavy. So putting this on your belt, you're going to probably be leaning to one side. I actually have it on there, not so much for a belt clip, but I keep it on my toolbox and I hang it upside down on that. So that's what I have it on there for. To me, it's a little too heavy to actually put on your belt. But the other feature that this has is right here, this style here, which goes that way and that way. So that has two different settings, and that's your setting for if you want to drive staples in one at a time, or if you want to drive them in rapidly. So what you do is you set that. Right now I have it on. You'll see a little, well, you can't see it in here, I'll explain it to you, but there's a little emblem of a nail in there. So if you see one, that means it's on single shot. So let me give you a little demonstration, show you how this works. I'm going to put the camera down here for a minute. So single shot, simply put, is going to be, you're going to press this down, fire it, and it's going to put a single staple in. Now rapid, you're going to switch it over, and you're going to see 3 screws. There's a little emblem in there, and you'll see 3 of them. Now that's rapid fire. What you do with that is, before you even do anything, press the trigger in. Unlike single shot, you wait until you actually put it down and then press the trigger. With rapid fire, you press the trigger first and then simply go down the line. Oh, hold on. There we go. And that'll drive them in like that. I actually jammed it because I didn't do it right, but that's how you operate that. You have to hold the trigger in first and then go ahead and start stapling. So that's another feature that it has. Let me put the camera back up here. Okay. Now, this sells in Home Depot for $139. That is bare tool only. It does not come with a battery. So, excuse me, just keep that in mind. I have the 4 amp hour battery. I feel that's best for this, especially depending on how many staples you're going to be putting in and what you're putting them into. You might want to, have the 4 amp hour battery. That's going to give you your most power and your longest run time also. All the green here is the hard plastic. Of course, it has the dark gray rubber overmold, so protects like if you're laying it down on the surface. It also has 2 pads here, one here and one here. And again, that's for if you're laying it down, it's not going to mar the surface. Now, of course, if you lay it on this side, if you have a belt clip on there and you lay it on that side, that's going to scratch the surface. So just keep that in mind. But as long as you have a battery in, it'll stand up on its own. So that's pretty much it. That's my review on the 18 gauge narrow crown stapler. This is part of the Airstrike system. They have currently 4 different guns. They have obviously this one. They have a brad nailer, a finish nailer, and the newest to their lineup is a pin nailer. Now, I will admit I don't really know what pin nails are. I don't know what they're really used for. But if you know about this stuff, they do have a pin nailer out now. That's their newest to the Airstrike lineup. But like I said, very convenient for if you don't want to lug out the hose, lug out the compressor and everything else and get that all set up. This is going to be just what you need. And it is very strong, let me tell you. It drives them in really good. Anyway, again, that's my review on this. Go check it out in Home Depot. And I'll catch you on the next review. Rich Reviews signing off.